guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Fran, I'm from Venezuela, and today we are going to be watching a video called 10 Things the UK Does Better Than the US. So I have no idea what those things could be. Hopefully it's in a sort of in a funny and jokey way and not insulting to the US. So let's check it out and comment, like, subscribe, and start.
It's impossible to say which country is the best in the world. However, a case can be made for some countries just being better than others, at least in specific fields. These are 10 things the United Kingdom just does better than the United States.
So apparently it's sort of objective. Cost-effective heads of state.
Many Americans often mock British people for still having a queen. They often say, get with the times.
Yeah, it's
You're
quite
not free if you have a monarch.
Yeah.
Your tax money is just being wasted. Well,
it's not wasted,
the truth
I think.
is that U.S. taxpayers have to pay more for their leaders.
Oh.
In 2014, the British royal family cost UK taxpayers just £35.7 million.
That's a huge amount, but I get
Obama
it.
and his family cost U.S. taxpayers $1.4 billion in expenses that same year.
Okay.
So when it comes to cost-effective leadership, the Queen of England, ironically, is less expensive than the President of the United States.
Okay, but I have to say, I think this is depending, because obviously, you know, if you see it like that, it's like that's a huge amount of money. But I think the US, yes, obviously, like the US is bigger, so it has to have like more people, so more citizens. So of course, if you have more citizens that pay taxes, of course it's gonna be more money. But because the UK doesn't have that amount of people in it, so of course it's not gonna be like comparable. But because I don't think he was just saying he didn't did like the math. He didn't really do like the equation. I don't know how I don't know how to call it, but it's all like relative. And he just said like the raw numbers. So if it's like that, I would guess it's probably maybe, I don't know if it's comparable. You would have to like do the math and do like, I don't know, math and equations to see like how like of taxes collected, like how much of those taxes, how the percentage of those taxes collected, how much is going on for their leadership. I think that would be a more accurate measurement, because if you see it like that, it's like, what? That's insane. But of course, I think in general, I don't know who pays more taxes. Like if citizens pay more taxes in the UK or in the US, I don't know. I have no idea. Traffic control. Okay.
The studies are in, and the verdict is clear.
Studies are in. What studies?
Are not only more efficient than U.S.-style traffic intersections, they're also
because
safer.
yes. Okay, they have intersections.
Even tested this theory, and they clearly demonstrated that roundabouts allow for 20% more.
I don't know what people have with roundabouts. I like roundabouts
than what is possible in an intersection.
Yeah.
Another advantage is that in a roundabout, drivers don't have to bring their vehicles to a complete stop. This has been shown to be safer for both drivers and pedestrians.
Oh,
so
didn't know that.
In this area, the UK has the US beat when it comes to traffic
control. I like roundabouts. Intelligence. Oh my God.
The average intelligence of each country in the world
How do you measure intelligence?
Rigorously studied over the past few decades.
What?
Well, the results are
How?
in, and quite embarrassingly, people in the UK are smarter than people in the United States.
How do you measure intelligence?
The average IQ of the United Kingdom stands at 100, while the United States falls short with an average IQ score of 98.
It's just 2% less.
A lot, but those two crucial points
they're crucial?
are enough to make the United States fall below the mean European IQ.
Oh, it's the median. Yeah, I was wondering that. What's the average?
Because of this, whether it be better schooling or higher standards of living.
It's a schooling
but the facts
thing.
don't lie. When it comes to IQ, the UK is superior to the US.
I don't know. It's kind of rude to say it like that. Not everyone who goes to like schools or colleges is smart. I don't know.
Now that you know the differences in average IQ between the US and the United Kingdom, it probably doesn't come as a surprise when you learn that the UK actually contributes more to science than the United States.
I'm not surprised by that.
On a per capita basis, which is the metric that divides the number of scientific papers published by a country's scientists and divides that number by the country's population.
So yeah, it tells you like how many scientists there are.
It gives you a good idea of how scientifically productive a country is on average. Well, in this category, the United Kingdom has the United States outclassed. The UK publishes 1.424 scientific papers for every 1,000 citizens, while the United
That's a
States
lot.
only produces
Wow.
0.9.
So everyone in the UK is a scientist?
Every 1,000
My God.
citizens.
They can
This
tell
gap
they're
in
smart.
contributions in the world scientific community
Yeah.
is a point of pride for people living in the United Kingdom.
Yes,
and this is
of
certainly
course.
an area where the United States should try to catch up.
Definitely, yes. Wind power.
The United Kingdom possesses the most productive offshore wind farm in the entire world. This world-class installation is the Greater Gabbard Wind Farm, which produces
Greater Gabbard,
over
where is it?
1.75 terawatt hours of clean and renewable energy every year. The United States,
No idea how much
and
is
indeed
that.
the rest of the world, has nothing that can compete
Yeah,
with this installation.
I was gonna say, what countries
The United
compare to
States
that?
doesn't even have a position in the top 25 most productive offshore wind farms.
I'm
while
guessing
the
they're all
United
in
Kingdom
Europe.
holds the top first, second, and third spots, with Denmark being its closest competitor.
Yeah, I was gonna
The
say it's
UK's
probably
superiority
in Europe
doesn't
it's more
just end
popular.
there, however. The United Kingdom is the largest exporter of offshore generated wind power, which
Oh.
means that not only is the UK producing the most
exporting it.
offshore wind energy, it's also creating enough to supply other
Yeah,
countries.
that's awesome. Writing books. So authors, they have more
Just as
authors?
with wind power and scientific papers, the United Kingdom is better when it comes to producing authors and great works of literature. The UK tops the charts of publications per capita,
Like,
with only
these
China and the
days.
United States
We're not talking about
beating out
Shakespeare.
the country in absolute terms, despite the UK's much smaller population.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Overall, the UK produces 2,875 titles each year for every 1 million inhabitants of the country, while the
That's-
United States only produces 956 titles
Wow.
for every 1 million
and you would
inhabitants.
think it's
This
the
is an
US
even
is
more
bigger.
impressive feat when you learn that the UK has only 1/5 the population
Yeah,
of the United
because
States.
the US has more people,
So when
I
it
was
comes
gonna
to
say.
books, the US is still quite a few chapters
Wow,
behind
that's
the
pretty
UK.
impressive. I didn't know that. I couldn't have imagined that. Successful film franchise.
While it is true that Hollywood is the film capital
I
of the
get-
world,
yes, I would
and
think
as a
the
result,
US
produces more films per year, this
Yes.
doesn't compare to one of the UK's greatest film achievements. The most successful film franchise of all time
Oh, James Bond.
is a British film franchise, the James Bond series.
It's really the
James
longest
Bond
as well.
series was the first to gross over $1 billion in sales,
Oh.
and is still the highest grossing film franchise. It seems that people
Yeah,
still
because-
prefer the
yes,
cool,
because
suave
they have a
charisma
lot of
Agent
films.
007 to the loud action and violence of most American films.
Yeah, I think they're different. Like, the style is very different.
If you're a fan of watching YouTube videos, this is probably the most important category where the UK is better than
Well,
the US.
for
Despite
the
having
daily
invented
life in
internet,
general.
the UK has the US outclassed when it comes to average internet speeds. As of 2015, the average connection speed in the UK was 13 megabits per second, while the US
That's-
only had an average of 12.
Oh, well, it's not like that. It's,
So the
I
next
mean,
time
it's always
you're in an argument with a
better, but
British
it's not like
person
that
on the
little.
internet, remember that they probably have you outclassed in internet connection speed.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Discover new elements, like
Of
new
the
elements as in
118 known
science.
elements on the periodic table, 24 were discovered by British scientists.
Because
This is
they
more
had a
than
lot of
any other country,
scientists.
and further reinforces the case of British superiority in the sciences over the United States. This number includes crucial elements such as hydrogen, sodium, xenon, and platinum. The US, however, wasn't totally outclassed by the UK, as the country did discover 21 elements
That's
on
a
the periodic
lot.
table,
Yes.
and as a result, earns a very respectable second place.
Respectable second place. Having their flag in other countries. Oh,
This is
yeah.
probably the greatest sign of the UK's importance and massive impact on the shape
I was going to
and
say,
history
yeah,
of the
because
globe.
of
As a
well,
legacy of the once
colonization.
great British
Yeah,
Empire,
British Empire.
countless flags around the globe still bear the Union Jack.
Oh, the Union
From
Jack is the
Australia
England
to
flag.
New Zealand and even Fiji, over 20 major flags around the world contain the Union Jack in one form or
Those
another.
flags are so funny.
Perhaps
They
most
have, like, one
interesting
flag on top
and
of
most
another.
humorous is that the number includes the U.S. state of Hawaii, which
Oh.
prominently and proudly displays the Union
Really?
Jack. The very
What's
first
the
flag of
Hawaii
young United
flag?
States, the Grand Union flag, even contained the
Well,
Union Jack as well.
that's to
While
be
countries such
expected.
as Liberia and Malaysia have similar flags to the U.S. flag, these
Oh,
are poor
yes, they're
facsimiles
similar.
at best, and are vastly outnumbered by countries, states, and territories that still fly the Union Jack with pride. For more top lists just like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already.
Yeah, this was very interesting. A lot of things that I wasn't expecting. It's very it was very funny. A lot of things are like, it's a fact. But yeah, I was gonna say I didn't really know like a lot of these things because I don't know. I was expecting, like, there's so many things that I was expecting, for the US to like beat the UK, just because of the number. Again, the population, the US is huge, so it's surprising that the UK has like more things, or like when it comes to like scientists and authors and books, like it's surprising and very commendable. Like they managed to do more with even less people. The thing about like scientists publishing papers, like that mine is like mind blowing. It's like, wait, so like from every like 1,000 citizens or something like that, you have like 800 like published papers. Like that's crazy. Like, so everyone in the UK, like what I'm getting at is that everyone apparently in the UK, everyone is like a scientist, and everyone is either a scientist or a published author. That's crazy, but I think it makes sense because one of the facts was that they really do destine. I don't know. They put a lot of money into research and into like scientific research, and specifically like the wind farm thing. I don't think you can manage to get to that level of like of producing enough like energy for both your country and other countries. I don't think that you can manage like big those to produce like that amount of energy and to create like one of the biggest like wind farms in the world. But it's probably, because I was gonna say like probably it's all around in Europe. It's probably the place that is more common to have like wind farms. But again, in the UK, in the world, in the Europe, and in the world in general, you don't manage to get that just by, oh, it just happened like by chance. No, you really do have to invest a lot of money, both in people that are able to do that and in both in infrastructure. So they do sort of like do invest a lot on science and science, not just like probably scientific research, but also in like engineering and stuff like that. So it makes sense for them to like have that because it's quite impressive. And the franchise, yes, I was gonna say, well, yes, because obviously if you look at it, you're like Hollywood produces probably a lot more films because it's it's Hollywood, and the amount of films, because there's like such a huge industry that so many people that work in Hollywood that it's impossible to compete basically, because again of the sheer amount of people. But it's James Bond. Even with that, it's like James Bond is the most successful. But why is it more successful? Well, because it's been going on for years. Like I don't even know how. How, because I think it started maybe like, I don't know, in the 60s. So it makes sense. I think it's one of the oldest film franchise in the world, in history. Because I'm trying to think of like some other famous thing that's lasted like so long, and I can't really come up with anything. So of course it's like all around the world, if you have something that's been going on for like 60 years, of course it's bound to produce more money than something that's relatively newer in comparison. But yeah, this was very interesting, very like straight to the point. And yeah, I felt like I learned a lot, especially a lot about the UK does apparently like it's very big on research and on education in general. So props to that. Great for its citizens. So yeah, hopefully you also learned a lot of new facts as well. And I'll see you soon. Bye.